Tony is a crippled 35-year-old man who lives with his two younger disabled friends, Silas and Steven. Silas is a blind guy of about 28 years, while Steven is a deaf and dumb guy who is barely 23 years old. They all share a similar story as they are all abandoned by their different parents at one of the disabled people's homes in the States. They have grown to see each other as brothers and are always willing to support each other at all times. As time goes by, they begin to nurse this ambition to move out of the disabled people's home. They all agree that they cannot continue to live in the home forever. They begin to make preparations on how to leave the home and go to a place where they could hustle better, take care of themselves, and also support the home that has helped them for so long. They went to a nearby shoemaking shop and begged the owner to teach them the craft. The owner agrees to teach them for free without any hesitation. They all learn faster than anyone that has ever come there to learn the trade, and this really amazed the owner, who decided to support them on the day of their graduation with all the equipment and materials they needed to start up the business. He also gave them some money, and many other neighbors and customers who witnessed the magic they performed with materials while working in the man's shop showered them with gifts. They went back to the disabled people's home and told them of their desire to leave the home and go elsewhere to live and work on their own in order to support themselves and give back to the home. The foundation granted their request and even helped them to secure an accommodation in their choice location. They were all so happy to finally live on their own like every other adults do. They quickly rented a shop and started their shoemaking business. Their shoes were very exceptional and they began to get overwhelming requests from customers. They would work overtime and even work on holidays, yet the requests kept pouring in and almost all their customers were patient with them and never wanted to take their jobs elsewhere, even when they begged them to do so. One day, Silas, who happens to be the blind one, gets sick from all the stress at the shop and they asked him to take a day off to recover. So Tony and Steven headed out for their normal business and didn't know the tragedy that they were about to face on that very day. As soon as they hit the road, it began to rain. Steven pushes Tony on his wheelchair to a nearby small shop for a temporary shelter. An hour passed and the rain kept on increasing without any end in sight. Everywhere has already been flooded. Soon they hear a cracking sound coming from the small building they were resting in. The shop is about to collapse as a result of the heavy rain and flooding. Steven quickly pushes Silas out and the shop collapsed almost immediately. As soon as they were out, they realized how deep the flood is. Steven could not even stand on his feet as he wrestled against the flood, with his face occasionally going down into the flood as if he was going to get drowned, while also trying to hold onto Tony's wheelchair at the same time. He looks up to check on Tony one more time, but was totally heartbroken to see that Tony is no more on the wheelchair. The flood has carried Tony away and he has been holding onto an empty wheelchair all this while. He tries everything humanly possible to find Tony in the flood, but without any success. He manages to swim back to the rubbles of the collapsed shop as the rain gradually stops. As he looks up into the flood, he sees some footwears floating on top of the water. He takes a more careful look at the shoes and discovered that they are shoes from their shop. He looks further and sees the majority of the shoes they have produced floating on top of the water. He breaks down in tears as he realizes that he has not only lost a brother, but their shop is also gone. After the rain has stopped, Steven, who is deaf and dumb, goes back home to tell Silas, who is blind, everything that happened. But the question now becomes, how does Steven, who is deaf and dumb, communicate everything that has happened to Silas, who is blind? And how do they continue with their shoemaking business without Tony, who bridges the communication gap between them even when people helps them with funds to start up all over again? Please leave your suggestions in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.